Okay, let's see if this decides to work, because it's fucking struggling. Okay, this looks like it's working. There we go. I don't know why that was so difficult for it. YouTube streaming is jank AF. Alright, let's give some homies some time to pop in. Holy shit, though. Should have moved my fucking stream deck closer where I could actually see it. Alright, we'll give it another minute here. This shit is just... The YouTube stream setup is not good. It is not good at all. Like, it's nice adding a thumbnail and stuff. Like, I think that's nice, but the setup itself is not ideal. How the hell's everyone doing today, though? I'm gonna be honest, I'm doing pretty fucking good. This chair, like, tilts backwards. Like, falling out of it. Their dashboard is... it's alright. Now I'm clicking in it. Like, at least they have the shit that you need front and center. So give it just another sec, and then we'll hop into things. Need some coffee to wake up. I've been tired all day. I don't know what it is. Yeah, this dashboard's fucking with me. I can't get over it. Alright, I guess we should, jump into things. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Drinker here, and welcome to episode 1 of the Drunken Slothcast. And like I said, I'm your host, Drinker. This is gonna be just off the cuff. It's not gonna be anything serious and probably not a regular thing, but I do want to discuss a few things with the audience. And as I'm doing an intro, of course, a loud-ass plane decides to fly overhead, loud enough to pick up in the microphone. So that is always fantastic. So we'll give it a minute to fly overhead, and then we'll kind of keep going. It's already going away. Alright, there it goes. Now I have a few things I want to discuss with everyone. First off, we want to talk about Nancy Mace and the absolute bombshell that she dropped earlier today. We want to talk about Aryan Chad Newsom. I can't even say that with a straight face. Gavin Newsom, the Aryan Chad. We want to talk about him today and how the right just cannot get optics correct at all. We want to talk about some people flip-flopping on Epstein. Probably talk about Borderlands 4 as well, just kind of round it out with some gaming stuff. And then probably throw in some Last of Us 2 slander, just because that's always fun, and The Last of Us 2 is dog shit. And shouldn't be too long before I actually have a full-length review done of that game. I have all of the actual gaming footage for that, but I haven't finished writing it yet. And then, of course, once I finish writing it, it'll get recorded, and it'll be really long, so the editing will take quite a lot of time. But my goal is, before I leave on vacation next month, to have that out and ready for you guys to view. But we'll have to see, because I bet that video is going to be a fucking nightmare to edit. I mean, the game takes 24 hours to beat. I beat it twice. Have some stream clips I want to include. Deep dives into the story. But yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna hope I can get that done in time for the audience to see. But if it comes out after I leave for my vacation, that's fine too. It is what it is. I would just like it to be done before that point. Is that boy memes? What's up? But the top story here that I wanted to talk about, this was so funny. It was the absolute bombshell that Nancy Mace dropped on the timeline for everyone, basically admitting she was going to show her entire naked body today. Every time I try to do something, a fucking plane flies overhead. But I wanted to talk about some of the implications of what she had to say, but let's actually take a look at her tweet here. So she said, "Yes, I'm going there. Today I'll show my naked body on one of the videos predators and rapist Patrick Bryant took of me and many other women. Without our knowledge, without our permission, and without our consent. He stripped his victims of their dignity, their privacy, and their liberty. He meticulously organized and categorized these images, and he stored these images of all these women for years without telling them." Woo! So, right off the bat, she tricked us, bro. Yeah, and right off the bat, like, obviously, I don't think it's a shock to say, rape, boo, or that's a bad, taking non-consensual photos of people, that's bad. Distributing those, that's bad. I don't think that's anything that's a shock to say. But the framing of how she says it here, every time I try to do something, man, I swear, they're super quiet any other time. But the framing here, she's not like, I was a victim. It's not, like I said, the framing here is not, I was a victim, not this is a disgusting rapist. The first thing she says is, I'm going to show my naked body. The framing here is, look at me first, and then here's the victims, here is the perpetrator. And you can see that this is a common theme with Nancy Mace. She really loves the camera to be on her. Everything that she does, you can see, like the video that she's showing below, everything is selfie cam. It's really OnlyFans model-esque. And it's so funny because, like, this is, again, just something that she has a history of. It's a lot of self-attention, self-flagellation, self-validation. And it's that internalized feminism that's just really, really rampant, unfortunately. And it's like you're taking a serious issue and basically making a mockery of it. When you do things like this, it actually takes away from, the victims, from the evilness of the perpetrator, things like that. And, excuse me, throat's a little sore today. But it's a look at me, oh, and this bad stuff happened. And you can see this with basically any woman in politics right now. It's more about getting attention for themselves, typically from men, than it is about actually making any change. And any woman who gets involved in politics is going to have at least a little bit of internalized feminism, at least a little bit. And this is just one of those things, like, I hit the wrong button. This is one of those things that it just makes you laugh. It's like, what are you doing, you dumb bitch? Because now, like I said, it makes a mockery of it. Now all anyone wants to do is they want to see her body. And actually, I saw, this is a great post by Richard Ratboy here from earlier, where he said, Nancy Mace boob watch. And it's like, yeah, no one cares about, what, no one cares about what happened. No one cares about anything else. Now all they care about is seeing Nancy Mace's fucking body. And like our boy meme said, we didn't even get that. So it's just a joke all the way around. She wanted the attention on her, but that's the photo we got. You can't even really tell that's a person. This is less clear than the Bigfoot pictures that you see online. This is less clear than a picture of Bigfoot you can find on Google. Like, is this... I'm sorry, this is not a crime. Do I have to say it? Like, this is not a crime. You can see her clearly, though. And that's what it was about. It was about getting the attention on her. And that's, a common theme with her. She's just an absolute attention whore. And again, that's what women in politics are going to be. They're going to be attention whores. And it's all about them. They can't make it on a site like OnlyFans because, they're too old. And granted, for her age, she looked pretty good, I would do it. Not saying I would be proud of it. Not saying I would, shout it to the rooftops, but, I think you'd be lying if you say I wouldn't hit that. Here's another. There's some good memes that people made of this today, but here's another one right here. Releasing the nudes. I hate planes with a passion. America, it's time to look at my tits. Yes, Nancy. Oh my god. And that's the type, again, it's the type of shit that just makes you lose all respect for our entire government. If you had any to begin with, which obviously at this point you probably shouldn't. I did see some women, one thing that was nice is I did see some women saying that all of the internalized feminism that they had ever experienced, they're no longer experiencing any of it because of how much of a clown she was. And ultimately, is anything shocking about this situation? That's kind of what I've been trying to wrap my head around this entire time. Is this actually a surprise? And I think the answer is no. I think there was a handful of women in Congress who there was a pretty high likelihood that they would do something like this. I think AOC was probably one of them. Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace. Those are probably the top 3 candidates, I would say. Like this, in any other timeline, this would actually be shocking. Oh, and even though she's not in Congress, Kristi Noem is another one that you could see doing something like this. Anons when the Nancy Mace hearings don't even show her massive knockers. Fell for it again award. Yep, we didn't even get to see it. After all that, we did not even get to see it. That's so funny. It's just... This is the type of shit that kind of makes you depressed. Fell for it again award. Her pitch, my boobs. I guess she got more people to, watch that than ever would before. I think I know one member of Congress who will be happy to see Nancy Mace's bobs and vagine. Oh, we live for the Jeet slander. Any Jeet slander is good slander, let's be honest. And it's so funny because, another thing that I just keep thinking about is she really expected everyone to react like, oh yes, you're such a brave woman, you're such a queen, you're so brave. And everyone was like, wow, you're just a dumb hoe. I'm out of coffee, fuck. She expected everyone to be on her side, and everyone was like, wow, this bitch is a fucking dumbass. And this is the type of woman who would, be like, stop sexualizing me. It's like, you're sexualizing yourself. What are you talking about? And then, of course, later on, after all this, she posts this. Today I exposed a monster whose victims deserve justice. The victims also deserve stronger federal and state laws to protect them. To other potential victims, I want you to know I have your back. I would run through a brick wall to protect women and girls in South Carolina. I encourage other potential victims to come forward. Potential victims may contact SLED's lead investigator, blah, 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 blah. And it's like you didn't expose anyone but yourself, quite literally. And no one, again, You made a mockery of this. No one even cares about the rest of what happened. And then something else that was pretty funny that John Miller pointed out is it looks like it might be the same guy. The guy who took her nudes might be the same guy that she admitted and bragged that she was having sex with before the prayer breakfast, if you remember that from a while back. GOP Nancy Mace GOP rep Nancy Mace tells prayer breakfast audience she turned down sex to be there. It's like, yeah, we didn't need to know. So he pointed it out that it might be the same guy, and it's like, it's funny, but it's kind of depressing. If that's the same guy, that just adds to the ridiculousness of the situation. Oh, we got Hirosaka Arian. Nancy Mace at the House of Representatives. Good grief, she's naked. We did get some good memes out of it, though. So, like we said, the whole situation is pretty crazy. And like I said, in any other timeline, it would be shocking. In this timeline, not so much. Now, the next thing that I wanted to talk about, and this might be even more important, I think optically it probably is, because, again, I think we all recognize that any woman in politics is going to have a lot of internalized feminism and going to be, an attention-seeking hoe. But something that I think is even more important is the optics of race. And I think this picture just sort of says it all here. So let's take a look. So AF Post, they posted about Gavin Newsom reportedly going up for a 2028 presidential bid. And he posted this picture with his family. Man, I can't speak today. And it's a lovely looking white blonde family. But they posted that in comparison to J.D. Vance and his family. And if you looked at these two pictures, who would you assume would be the Republican? Would it be Chad Arian Gavin Newsom? Or J.D. Vance? And I don't know how to say this, but if this is our based right-wing presidential candidate of 2028, how cooked is the right? Race is not everything. Of course it's not everything. But it's not nothing. It does matter. And pretending like it doesn't matter at all is sort of what got us into this position in the first place. Again, just compare and contrast these two photos. If you had to make a decision on which of these men was going to be president just based off the photo, no other information alone, you'd go with Gavin. And I don't like Gavin Newsom at all. But I mean, the comparison is just, I can't get over that. And by the way, speaking of J.D. Vance, does this look like a hardcore Catholic to you? No. I mean, he's subservient to his wife. His children don't look like him. And I gotta say, as someone who is right wing, seeing that contrast is depressing. I mean, imagine, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, showing someone those two pictures and asking them to pick which one was the Republican. 100% of people would get it wrong. Quite literally 100% of people would get it wrong. And this is, a problem with the right and optics broadly. The right just does not understand. It does not understand optics at all. Optics matter. And this is even a further representation, not just of optics, It's a further representation of, modern day society. White people built these great societies and then let people in, and those same people intimidate white people. You see it in the UK with the rampant Muslim immigration. You see it in South Africa, where there's an undeniable white genocide going on right now. People can try to deny it, but it's obviously happening. You see it in America, where the racial demographics are rapidly shifting and white people are quickly becoming a minority. Again, the likely 2028 presidential candidate of the Republican Party, his entire family is Indian. And I'm tired of people pretending like that doesn't matter. I think a lot of the right understands it matters. I think there's a lot of people who fight that understanding, but they do understand it. They're just afraid of being called racist. Immigration in general, it's just, it's a unique problem to white societies as a whole, because white people, we build the nations that people want to live in. There's no country really that non-whites run that most people want to live in. Everyone, of course, is allowed to be proud of their heritage unless they're white. And this is fortunately, and I saw a video of Shiloh Hendricks earlier where she was talking about her funding situation. But this is one thing that gives you a little bit of hope when that Shiloh Hendricks situation came up, because at least it showed a lot of people were losing that white guilt. It was liberating in a sense, because after that Carmelo Anthony situation, he killed Austin Metcalf, in my opinion, and based on all the evidence, it looks like it was a murder, but allegedly murdered him, for legal purposes. But then you see that black people are madder at Shiloh Hendricks as she said a word than they are at Carmelo Anthony, who killed another kid. And I think white people are finally getting a lot of black fatigue and losing that white guilt, which is good to see, thankfully. They're no longer feeling like slaves to that perceived past racial debts from, slavery and segregation. And that's if you believe that narrative, of course. Very few whites actually own slaves. It's mostly a Jewish thing, but I'm not going to get into that here. That's a good way to get nuked off of this platform. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, I can't believe after all this time, that's the best the right can do. And it makes me depressed for our future. It makes me black pill. I don't know what else to say. It just makes me black pill so fucking hard. I don't even know what else to say, unfortunately. Now, another thing that has come up that I think everyone should pay attention to is, of course, the people who are flip-flopping on Epstein. Now, with Epstein, I think basically everyone understands that he did not kill himself, of course. No one actually believes that. And there is a ton of evidence tying him to Israeli intelligence, him and Ghislaine Maxwell both. Ton of evidence tying them to Israeli intelligence. Just another reason that they're not our greatest ally. And now you're seeing people who have been in the Trump administration for less than 100 days who were adamant that there was something more going on, that, you know, that the, just like we said, that he didn't kill himself and that he was tied to all these dirty people. And now they're, you know, trying to backtrack and pretend like, oh, you know, it was all normal after all. It wasn't suspicious after all. And it's like, bro, you've been saying the same thing for a couple of years. And now that you're in the administration excuse me, I'm having trouble speaking today. Don't know what it is. But now that you're in the administration, now you're changing your tune. Why is that? And I think the perfect example of this is Dan Bongino. There's a video highlighting what he said in the past and what he said recently on Fox. And so I think we should take a look at that here. It's less than a minute long.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee-deep.
A lot of intensity.
A swamp, who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it, outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to get... I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Oh my God, that's just... I mean, it doesn't get much more black and white than that. First, he's talking about, you know, that it's a cover-up, and there's people who have a lot of dirt on them, and then 100 days into the Trump administration, and he's flip-flopping. Now, I think we know why that is, and it's an uncomfortable answer, but I think it's the obvious answer, and that's he looked at the file and realized that he was neck-deep, Epstein, he was neck-deep with our greatest ally, Israel. And, of course, there's right now a ton of money influencing people to be really pro-Israel. And, of course, if you're not pro-Israel, everyone just calls you anti-Semitic. So there's negative consequences on multiple facets. You lose money and you lose a lot of influence. You can lose your job. You can, lose your bank accounts. All of that just being anti-Israel. And so when something like that hurts your narrative so much, it's just better not to talk about it because, of course, we support Israel in everything that they do, including genociding kids in the Middle East. Especially infants, we're really supportive of that. But it's so funny. I mean, it's been, 100 days? He went into office in January. Trump went into office in January, so it's been like 100 days. And it's already... they're already going soft on Epstein. They're already going soft on the FBI. They're already going soft on everything. And it wasn't just Dan Bongino, of course. We saw during the same interview that Kash Patel was also, parroting the same lines. And I don't know what else to say. It's just kind of depressing. But that's what happens when our greatest allies are involved. Yay. Can't you tell I'm really happy about that. Oh, man. All you can do is laugh, you know? Well, I mean, I don't even know what else to say, so let's just kind of, let's go to the next thing here. Let's go to a little more lighthearted topic. Borderlands 4. When is that supposed to come out? Have they announced that release date? Let me take a look. Scheduled to be released on September 12th, 2025. So later this year, Borderlands 4 is supposed to come out. Now, there's been a lot of talk around Borderlands 4 because of the price. Now, the prices of games have been going up. It looks like the new standard is probably going to be $80 soon, which is just insane. $80 for a digital game is fucking ridiculous. Okay. Now that plane's gone by and thoroughly upset me. But yeah, it looks like $80 is going to be the new standard. And again, it's completely ridiculous, especially since you're not getting anything other than the digital download. And I thought this was really interesting here. So Vera Dark posted this. It's a screenshot of Randy Pitchford's Twitter response. And, you know, someone said Randy, and Randy's the CEO of Gearbox, by the way. So he is obviously someone who can make a lot of important, influential decisions. In case you didn't know who he was, I figured I should probably tell you that. But Randy said, the guy responding to Randy said, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO. You have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher. And Randy responds, A, not my call. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starfight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991. When I was just out of high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen. And you can see by the screenshot that things were not going well. And, of course, Vera rightfully points out what a terrible response, if you're a real fan, is an awful thing to use against someone. And the thing with Borderlands 2 is it's kind of slowly a dying franchise. I mean, Borderlands 3 was not very good. And the Borderlands formula in general it's tiring. I think a lot of people are getting real tired of these Marvel tier, joke quips. And it's just not that fun when you've heard it over and over again 1,000 times. How funny can it be after a certain point? And if the game is $80, I mean, let's just say hypothetically it comes out at $80, because I think if it wasn't going to be $80, that Randy would have responded that, yeah, it's not going to be $80. And him pretending like he doesn't have a say in it is obviously a cop-out. He clearly does. But let's just, just for argument's sake, let's just say it comes out as $80. How hard does that game flop at that point? Because it's not just Borderlands 3 had some issues. Obviously, they had Tiny Tina's, and they had the Borderlands movie, which both had issues as well. So if the next game comes out, it's $80, and if it's not a substantial leap forward for the series, and let's face it, it won't be. It'll probably be a step back. How hard does that flop? given modern trends, we know the game probably isn't going to be better. So how hard is that game going to flop? I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but it's going to be bad. It is not going to be pretty. So I think we should just be honest with ourselves with that. And again, just you're better off if you're Randy there. Just don't respond to a tweet like that. When you respond and say, if you're a real fan, it just makes you look like such a dipshit. You look like such a fucking jackass that if I was a real fan, I wouldn't fucking be after that. And I'm not a big Borderlands guy. And seeing the Borderlands series die, I don't think it would be the worst thing in the world, to be honest. Again, after 3, it was pretty much done with Borderlands. But even if I was a big fan of the series, if the CEO of the company is like, yeah, if you're a real fan, fuck you, you'll fucking get your wallet out, spend your life savings, I'd be like, bitch, go fuck yourself. I ain't spending another dime on any of your fucking products. Why would I? You just gave me no incentive to. The games are getting worse. They're getting more expensive. And the CEO is basically telling me to go fuck myself. Like, where's the incentive? The incentive is for me to fucking, save my money or spend it on something else. We all have, 1,000 games on our Steam library that, are going to go on sale anytime. That $80 buy fucking 20 of those games. I mean, that's just so fucking dumb. Again, why would you even respond to that tweet? And then why would you respond in that way? It's just so arrogant. And that's something that we see from a lot of people in these companies. It's just their sheer arrogance. You better make it happen. How about you go fuck yourself, Randy Pitchford? Man, I'm thirsty. And I'm out of coffee too right now. That's so lame. I always, on this topic of Randy Pitchford too, and it's not just him, it's a gaming industry as a whole. A lot of these people have such arrogance and they have such disdain for the people that actually play the games that they make and, make them money. To me, if I got to work in an industry that I had genuine passion for, that, relied on the good faith of other individuals, I'm not going to go out of my way to upset them, but, maybe I'm just the weird one. Maybe all these people saying fuck gamers and then their game is bomb, maybe they're the geniuses. But whatever. I mean, we need a games crash. We're kind of in one now, but we need a hard games crash. We need to reset, and a lot of these companies need to go out of business. And Gearbox, I really would not be upset if they went out of business at all. It would not hurt my feelings in the slightest. I don't know how you guys feel on that, but what are we missing out on if Gearbox goes out of business? Their best games are behind them, and we can play them anytime we want. We just got to install them from Steam. And right now, you could probably buy Borderlands 1 and 2 for, a few bucks? I'm actually curious. Let's see what CD Keys says. Borderlands 3 on CD Keys is $6. Their newest up to this point, Borderlands, the mainline entry, not Tiny Tina's, which they have Tiny Tina's down here. But you can buy it for less than $6. $12 for the Handsome Collection. You can get the Super Deluxe Edition of Borderlands 3 for $19. Borderlands 2 for 10. Tiny Tina. So Tiny Tina is obviously like the newest game. $15. And you want me to spend $80 goddamn dollars on Borderlands 4 when we know that there's a good chance that Borderlands 4 is going to suck dick? You can actually fucking blow me, buddy. Jesus. So yeah, Gearbox should go out of business. Speaking of companies that should go out of business. Oops, I did not mean to open that video. Not, at least not right that second. So speaking of companies that should go out of business, let's talk about a company that used to be my favorite company in the games industry. Used to be a fan favorite all around. That being Naughty Dog. The Last of Us Part 2, let's be honest, it sucked fucking dick. Like I said earlier, I'm going to do a full breakdown of it that I'm working on right now. And it's going to be a long ass fucking video. And it's going to suck to make, but I'm going to make it because it needs to be made. We need to talk about all the issues with the fucking game. And I think some people have broke down the individual themes really well, but I don't think someone has put a full summation in one video really well. And I don't think this is going to sound really wrong, but I don't think there's someone who's going to schizo-ran it quite like me. So, I'm pro schizo-ranning. It makes me sound so bad. But I saw this video on the timeline here, and I think it's worth looking at real quick. So before, I want to look at one thing. So this guy posted this video of an iShow speed stream where he was playing The Last of Us Part 2. Has 182,000 likes. He has 504 followers. Holy fucking bot, bro. Oh my god, at least make it believable, brother. And then, of course, when his tweet blew up, most of the responses were cooking him. Because he's quoting iShow Speed. They were both wrong. Speed played 30 hours straight of this game and still understood it better than most. So let's take a look at Speed's, what he said here real quick. The Sloth is kind of in the way, but, he's a little more handsome than Speed. Speed's not ugly, but the Sloth, a good-looking guy. Definitely not creepy at all. Let's see what Speed had to say. It was kind of a generic NPC thing, but, we'll take a look just so you have the context.
Me playing this game for 30 hours straight made me realize something. They were both wrong, y'all. They were both wrong from the start.
And that's all you need to see. They were both wrong from the start, which, again, this person, Scoop, is pretending that people don't understand that. And it's like, no, we understand it. That's not the problem. The problem is it fucking sucked. And that's the problem, is the story was ass. And one of the responses I saw to this video, rock solid, it's a pretty much perfect summation. Kills hundreds of people on her way to Abby, gets to Abby, the only person that deserves to die, decides she is suddenly above murder for revenge, just admit it's fucking dog shit storytelling. and again, it's people pretend like, no, it's really deep and complex, and it's like, no, it's not. It's very simple. It's about the endless cycle of revenge. But you know what ends the cycle of revenge? Fucking killing the person. Oh my god. And so not only do they inadvertently, or maybe I shouldn't say inadvertently, not only do they continue the cycle, but it's just done in such a bad way. And the only way to end the cycle they chose not to do. Abby's literally the person who deserves to die the most. It's not complex. It's really fucking stupid. Ellie was fine with murdering everyone else, but Abby's where she draws the line, despite the fact that, you know, she's the person who killed Joel and Jesse and, you know, crippled Tommy. I mean, crippled, he can still move around and stuff, but he's got a fucked up leg and fucked up face. And it's all because in that scene, she has a random fucking flashback of Joel. Like, please, blow me. That shit is so stupid. Anyone who thinks that's deep is a fucking idiot. That's not deep. It's very surface level storytelling. Anyone could have written that. It would have been better to just have a satisfying conclusion. I'm just looking at some of the comments. At what point to realize that you can understand the themes, the messaging, the purpose of the game entirely, and still acknowledge that it's still shit. And it's not complex. And I'm so glad a lot of the comments are cooking this people. The comments by the real people, because of course, like I said, it was very obviously a botted post. But I'm glad a lot of the comments are cooking this guy. And you can tell by the reception of the game, like the game did not perform that well. You can tell by the reception of the game and how disliked it was that even a lot of the normies didn't like it. And when you go overboard and even the normies start to notice, you know you fucked up. There's no subversion here. You know, the media literacy crowd, they think media literacy is only when you agree with them about exactly how the media should be read and understood. And it's like, I get it. I just think it's fucking stupid. I choose to ignore it. Abby's the one who should be fucking dead. Joel was the only one who was right. He was protecting his daughter, essentially. Again, she's like a surrogate daughter, but Joel was the one who was right. I think, here we go. This is a great response here, too. He said, yes, we get it, revenge bad. Can y'all go circle jerk in the other room now? I'm trying to eat. That's such a great way to put that. That is such a perfect fucking response. Because, like, yeah, it's revenge bad. Revenge bad. We all understand it. I think I already said that. But people need to stop pretending that this game is deep. I'm actually convinced. I'm convinced. I want to say this. I was going to say this I'm still going to say it in my Last of Us Part 2 review. But I am convinced that no one actually likes The Last of Us Part 2. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people who say they do. Even they don't, because it's not just the political ideology. That's why they say they like it, but the writing is extremely contrived. Like, the whole game is full of just like, oh, we just happened to get lucky here. We just happened to get lucky here. This just happened to go this way. Like, just perfect and perfect and perfect. And there's multiple times you'll have a cutscene that's a minute long. There'll be 4 or 5 contrived things in that one cutscene. It's just written so poorly, and this is what happens when you let a guy like Neil Druckmann in charge, who's a fucking clown and a hack. He can't write. And I'm convinced that no one actually likes this game, and the only people who say that they do are the people who just agree with the political messaging that's in the game. And of course, no one's mentioning how none of those people are going to ever mention how incoherent it is to have like a transgender storyline in a post-apocalyptic setting that started in like the breakout started in like 2013, and suddenly 20 years later, or however long it's been, I'd have to double check the time frame, but now there's a transgender storyline. Like, what the hell? And it's, again, does anyone actually like that game? I'm not convinced that anyone does. Talking about The Last of Us 2 gets me heated. I had to like take a breather for a sec. Like, talking about that game makes me fucking seethe because it's so bad. It just irritates me so fucking much. Just thinking about it just ruins my fucking day. So when I make that video, you fuckers better watch it, because holy fuck, it's gonna be torture. Again, I beat the game twice back to back to get the footage for that game, and I'm still eventually gonna stream a little bit more of it, just to finish up and get some stream clips of the game as well. Some more stream clips other than the ones I already have. And all in all, I've beaten that game like 6 times. So a game I fucking hate. So again, I hope you guys watch the fucking video when it comes out, because obviously I fucking tortured myself to make it. That story is just so bad every time I think about it. Every time I think about that video. Or not, why'd I say video? That story, that video game. Let's see. I don't know if there's anything else that I want to talk about before I get off here. I just want to see if there's some new information that's come out about anything that I've talked about here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I seethed enough about The Last of Us Part 2 for one lifetime. We talked about Nancy Mace being an absolute hoe bag. Of course, we talked briefly about the Epstein flip-floppers. Why did the music stop playing? I just realized that it stopped playing. Whatever. It's a good time for it to stop playing too. I can't get over that Nancy May shit earlier today. That shit's so funny. Like, ma'am, you are a member of Congress, and you're basically advertising your body to everyone. I just came across this post here too. The West has fallen. Like, jeez, Louise. Bro, you couldn't even, like, after all that buildup, you think we could have at least, got a decent glimpse of the knockers. So she built all of that up, and we didn't even get to see. We got to see a picture that was worse quality than your average Bigfoot picture. Again, That picture was such bad quality, I don't even think that's a crime. I think what she did, hyping it up, making us think we were going to see it, I think that's worse, honestly. Like I said before, you know, would. Not saying I would be proud of it. I'm just saying I would. You would too. Like, let's be honest, you would too. Yeah, there's nothing else interesting. Nothing else interesting on the timeline that I see here. So I think this is probably as good a time as any to end the shit stream. I'm glad I did this. It was fun. Except for the seething about The Last of Us Part 2. It was fun. Oh, hope you enjoyed the laziest podcast in the world. It is the Drunken Slothcast, after all. I should do this again. It's fun to just sit here and riff for a while. And at least I don't have to play the new Doom anymore. I was so fucking bored by the end of that. Check out the review if you haven't seen it. Sub, like, all that good shit.